Hey everyone, it's Mandy and I'm so happy to be back here sharing a new process video with you here on YouTube. I will give you a little update of what's been happening for me because it's probably been about 6 months since I've shared here on YouTube. But first of all, I just want to tell you what I'm working on today. So I'm creating a layout for the Cocoa Vanilla Studio design team, and the theme on the blog this week is monochromatic projects. So I've decided to create a masculine themed project. I'm going to be using the Boys Rule collection, and I want to create a bit of a mixed media background to start with. And you can see that I've decided to go with blues on this layout for my monochromatic page. So I'm sort of actually going to be using sort of like a teal colour, and I'm going to try and stick to that. And I have to say, I actually quite enjoy creating monochromatic pages because it kind of takes the guesswork out of what to use, what embellishments to use and papers, because they all have to be within the same colour family sort of thing. So I find that it just makes it that little bit easier. So as I said, I'm going to be working on a mixed media background to start with, and I'm using my favourite Vicki Boutin art crayons for this. And if you're new to mixed media, I would highly recommend these. I find them really easy to use, and I find I just get a great result every time. And so I started with off screen, I added some gesso to my background first because I knew I wanted that I would be adding lots of water and that sort of thing, and I didn't want the pigment to soak into the page straight away. I wanted to be able to move it around a little bit, as you can see that I'm going to do here. And so all I did was I scribbled the art crayons onto some plastic packaging, as you can see I'm doing there, and then I'm just using my Vicki Boutin water brush to add some water to it and then just smush it onto the page. And then I'm also using my water brush to sort of just add a little bit more water on the page, and so I can sort of move that colour around a little bit. And you would know that if you have tried to create a watercolour background like this before and you haven't added gesso to your cardstock first, that you're just not going to get the same result. So I really do recommend adding either clear or white gesso to your cardstock first. Okay, so I started off with the teal colour, and I made that by mixing together some blues and greens. And that's another great thing about these art crayons, is that really the colour possibilities are endless. You can create whatever colour you like just by mixing the colours together. And so yeah, I made that teal colour by mixing together the blues and greens, and then I came in with a darker blue just to give that background a bit of variation in colour. I didn't want it to be all just one colour. I wanted some lighter and darker bits. And so you can see now that that's dry. I did use my heat tool to dry that background because it was quite wet and I wanted to keep working on the layout. And the cardstock did warp a little bit, but not too much, not enough for me to worry about. So I was okay with that. But if you have the time, it's probably better to leave it to dry naturally. Okay, so then you can see that I added some stamping to the background, and I also used a Vicki Boutin stamp to do that. They're just some little they look like hand-drawn circles, and so I just added that in a few places just to add a little bit more interest to that background. Okay, so now I'm ready to bring in my photo, and I'm going to work on adding some layers behind my photo. So obviously I'm going to try and stick to that monochromatic look. So I want blues, but I'm also going to bring in a little bit of grey and black and white and that sort of thing as well. But I just want to build up those layers just to create lots of interest. So I'm going to try out a few things and see what works, see what I like, and move it around a bit. So I do play with this for a little bit. So while I do that, I'll tell you about my photo. It's of my dad and my son, and it was taken recently when we got together for my dad's birthday. These two really just have such a special bond. Isaac was his first grandson, so I guess that kind of makes it special. And my dad taught him how to play chess, and they like to fish together, and they just really love spending time together. So I really love this photo of them together, and I couldn't wait to get it documented. So I'm so glad that I was able to do that on this page. Okay, so while I just continue to work on those layers, you can see that I've cut out some of those pieces from that cut apart sheet, and I am going to use them to layer behind my photo. But while I continue to work on that, I'll just give you a little update of what's been happening for me. You may or may not have noticed that I haven't had any new videos up here on YouTube for probably about 6 months. And so I just thought I'd let you know what's been happening for me and my family during that time. So back in August last year, we sold our house and we made the decision for various reasons to relocate. So we bought a house in the Hunter Valley area, if you know the area at all, which is probably about an hour and a half from where we were living. So it wasn't a huge move, but it did feel kind of big for us because it meant a new school for the kids, a new church, and basically new everything, doctors, mechanic, all those things that you kind of just take for granted when you've been living in the same area for a long time. And so anyway, we moved in October. And so the last few months of 2018 were really busy with packing and moving and getting settled. And so that's kind of why I just didn't have the time to be working on process videos in the midst of all of that. And then after that, there was Christmas, and so that was busy as well. And the kids were off school for basically all of December and January. They had like 8 weeks off school, which was really nice. I really enjoyed having them at home, but I just found that I have less time when they're at home to work on things like my process videos and that sort of things. So anyway, they went back to school at the end of January, and my youngest also started prep 2 days a week. So this will be her last year at home before she starts big school. So she's doing prep to sort of get ready for big school next year. So anyway, that means that I'm sort of have a little bit more time now. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get back into a better routine of posting videos again, now that life is sort of back into a normal rhythm. And so I don't know, I'm sort of hoping to do somewhere between 2 and 4 videos a month. I kind of don't want to commit to a specific number because I just know that life just sometimes gets busy. But yeah, I want to, I've really missed being here on YouTube and sharing with you guys. So I am excited to be back. But if I'm sort of ever not here on YouTube and you're wondering what I'm up to creatively, I'm always still posting my projects over on Instagram. So if you're not following me over there, I'd love you to come over and follow me. And I'll leave a link down below so that you can find me easily. So yeah, that's sort of what's been happening for me over the last little while. So let's get back to the layout. So you can see that I've sort of got all those paper layers stuck down now behind the photo, and I've used a die cut for my title, and I love how that just matched perfectly. It was kind of a happy coincidence. I found that after I'd created my background, and it matched absolutely perfectly. It had that teal and the darker navy blue in it, so they just worked together perfectly. I was really happy for that. And I want to add some stars, so I pulled out the sticker sheet. So I added some stars around the page, and I've sort of created a bit of a visual triangle with those larger stars, and I did fussy cut a few out of that pattern paper that you can see over there on the left hand side of the screen, because I wanted some smaller stars on the page as well. And I sort of fuss with these for a little bit. I find the smallest embellishments on the page the hardest to place. I don't know why. Enamel dots and that sort of thing. I just fuss around with them for so long, and they're the smallest thing on the page. It really doesn't matter that much. But I stick that one down using some foam tape just to give it some added dimension. And you can see that I've added some handwritten journaling there underneath the title as well. So I'm getting close to being done now. The last thing I'm going to do is just add a few of these little clear stickers. I choose a few little words to add around the page, and then I will be done. So thanks so much for joining me here today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I will see you later, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.